Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Purhamayun. Welcome to Introduction to Data Science class. So what is data science? Let's start with the definition. Why is data science a very popular field of research and study these days? And why is a very important discipline these days? So let's start with the definition. Data science is an interdisciplinary field of research and study that aims to design and develop automated or semi-automated techniques to extract knowledge or information from large-scale data and use it for future purposes, such as prediction, decision-making, or recommendations. It can be an integration of machine learning, statistics, big data processing, predictive analytics, and computing. So if you notice here in the definition, I mentioned that extracting knowledge or information from data. So the first question here is that what is the difference between knowledge and information and data? So this is the main question here. So the answer is that knowledge is the useful part of the data for your application. So data, generally speaking, is all of the bits and bytes that you collect from any sources. But knowledge is the important part of the data, or in other words, it's the useful part of the data for your application. So this is important to understand. So if there is another application, then the definition of the knowledge will be different. So we have some data, probably a larger scale data, but a very small part of that is useful for your application. This is what you're looking for. If you are able to extract that part of the data, then this is very important. This is what we want to do in data science. And you will see that there are many applications for that. You can use it for many different purposes, again, such as predicting something in future, or decision making, or in recommender systems. So today I'm going to talk about some of the important applications of that in our real life. Data science, as I mentioned, it is very popular and high demanded field of study and research these days. So these are just some quotes from some magazines or from media. Also, according to Fortune magazine, data science is the hot new gig in tech. New York Times says this hot new field promises to revolutionize industries from business to government and from healthcare to academia, everywhere. And companies that want to make sense of all their bits and bytes are hiring so-called data scientists, if they can find any. So data scientist is a very popular field, a very high demanded position in industry these days. So here you go. So data scientist, of course, is a person who does data science. Okay. According to Glassdoor, probably you know this website, a data scientist has been rated #1 as the best job in America, based on 3 different metrics, based on the number of job openings, salary, and career opportunity ratings. McKinsey Global Institute predicts that estimated that there will be 4 to 5 million jobs in the United States requiring data analysis skills. It means data scientist position. And in this class, I'm gonna teach you the most important topic and the fundamental topics in data science. Let's start with this Venn diagram. This is a very famous graph that first defined by Drew Conway, the CEO and founder of Alluvium company. This is very famous, and I want to talk about it because this was one of the very first definitions of data science. So of course there are many different definitions for that. There is no unique definition for this field of study and research, but this Venn diagram provided one of the very first definitions for data science. What is that? What does that mean by interdisciplinary? Drew Conway believes that this is actually the combination of three different fields: math and the statistics knowledge and computer science knowledge, that he called it hacking skills. I don't like this term. I would call it computer science. That is why I added this term here. And domain science. Okay. So the combination of computer science and statistics will be very well known machine learning field that we are again going to talk a lot about machine learning in this class, which is one of the important part of data science. And when you apply machine learning for a domain science for a specific type of data, having some knowledge about that domain, applying different methods to process the data, the combination of all of them is called data science. So again, this is not necessarily the very accurate or the unique definition for data science, but everybody in data science classes talks about it because it was one of the very first definitions for this discipline. This is the main question. Why now? Why data science is an important topic these days? Why not 15 years ago? Why not like 10 years ago? Why didn't anybody talk about it? Anybody talk about data science 10 years ago? So I believe there are three main reasons for that. So there are three different things, three different capabilities or the resources that we didn't have like 20 years ago. The first and the most important one is data. New sources of data that we didn't have before. I'm going to talk about it later, more about it, but generally speaking, we have a lot of new sources of data these days that we didn't have before. Like 20 years ago, we didn't have, for example, smartphones or social media or internet, that powerful and popular internet to generate the data. The second item is new capabilities to collect, store, and process data. Again, we have very powerful tools and devices to store, and technologies to store, acquire, and process the data these days that we didn't have before. And the third one is new algorithms and methods that we have now. We are still developing that in data science, and many of them we didn't have before. So in the past couple of years, maybe in the past decade, computer scientists mostly have developed many different techniques to process the data and analyze big data that we didn't have before. So this is the first one, new sources of data that we didn't have before. Okay, so look at these items. Social media, okay, you use it every day in your life. Internet, we didn't have that popular internet like 20 years ago. Online activities like shopping on Amazon, eBay, and so on. So using all of these techniques, we generate data. So when you use your social media, when you add a comment, when you take a photo and put it on your Facebook, post it on your Facebook, these are generating data. So these are new sources of data that we didn't have before. Again, smartphone activities. This is a main source of generating data these days. Electrical health records and body and wearable sensors that we didn't have before, right? For example, iWatch or any type of smartwatch or any type of wearable device that you use these days, it continuously generates data. So there are a lot of data available these days, a lot of data. And we didn't have it before, and now it's time to process it. So this quote from Erika Schmidt can explain how much data we have these days. By the way, this quote is not new, but still it tells us maybe the numbers is not, we cannot prove these numbers actually, but it gives us some idea about how much data we generate these days. So the amount of data generated from dawn of civilization until 2003, we generate that much data every 2 days now. And again, this quote is from like a couple of years ago. It's not new. Here you go. The second option that I talked about, the second item that I talked about, new capabilities to acquire, process, and store data. Again, look at this example. Again, this is not new when you compare 2005 to 2014, maybe same price, same size, but 1,000 times larger memory stick to store data. These are like warehouse at Google, including supercomputers to process data these days. So computing, storing, and collecting data. So these are some sensors, small size sensors that we can use to collect data, process data, and store data. And again, we didn't have that much capabilities like 20 years ago. Let's talk about a little bit about our course overview. So in this course, we will cover fundamental topics of data science, focusing on algorithms and tools in data pre-processing, machine learning, which will be a big part of our course, data pre-processing or data processing, machine learning, data analytics, and big data manipulation. We will present both theoretical and practical aspects of these methods. The three main parts of the class will be data and will be introduction, of course, and applications of data science, machine learning, and data analytics, and big data processing and manipulation. In this class, we use Python, a lot of Python. Almost all of your homeworks and projects will be with Python programming. And we are going to talk about a lot of tools and libraries in Python that are designed for data science. Why Python? Of course, Python is very powerful and highly popular for data science. Actually, this is definitely, I can name it, the main programming language for data science. There are a lot of libraries that are unique, powerful libraries that are designed for data science applications. And it's also easy to learn, very popular general purpose programming language. So if you don't know Python, if you don't have any experience in Python programming, no worries, because it's very easy to learn. Okay, very, very easy to learn. Remember that we need Python just as much as you can do your homework assignments and projects, not more than that. And also in the class we briefly review the basics of Python, and maybe in the next week or week after that we will have a tutorial on basics of Python. We will briefly review that, so you will learn a lot of materials that will be enough actually for this class. And if you don't, again, I highly recommend, of course, for you to improve your programming skills in Python. There are a lot of online sources that you can check. So these are two main sources, but there are many other that you can check to learn Python. But as I mentioned, we will briefly review Python in this class in 2 weeks, and we just need Python just as much as you can do your homework and project.